Welcome to One Way to Machines and the 8th Gen Honda Civic series. In this video, we will be doing a winter-summer tire changeover on a 2007 Honda Civic. This process applies to all four-door Honda Civics between 2006 to 2011, 8th generation. Pay attention to what's required, as some of these things are optional. 1 or 2 interlocking foam mats helps for whenever you're kneeling down in order to position your floor jack or the kit from the car. If you are on a budget, you can just use a spare tire kit that comes with the car. The more ideal way of doing this job is with a proper floor jack and a pair of jack stands. You do not need the jack stands if you're not doing any kind of an oil change or going underneath the car for any other service. So you can do this job with just a floor jack and it will be safe. If your driveway has an incline, you'll want 4 bricks to chock the rear wheels when you're changing the fronts and to chock the fronts when you're changing the rears. To make your life easier, you can use a breaker bar with the 19mm deep socket and a 1/2-inch ratchet with the same socket to get the lug nuts off the whole way. This is not necessary. You can just use the kit that comes with the car to replace both of these items. I will show what's required for both methods. If you are using the kit from the car, you're going to have to do each wheel individually, and it's best to do this on a level ground. You can get away using a jack on an incline with chocking the wheels, but if you're using the flimsy jack that comes with the car, do it on level ground. Starting with the front of the car, use the breaker bar or the kit from the car to break the lug nuts loose on both wheels in the front. Chock both rear wheels with a brick at the front and the back of the wheel. Setting your foam mats up like this allows you to lie down on your back to visually reference that front cross member in order to place your jack properly. Remember to always use your axle stands if you put your face under the car for any reason. It is possible to look under and locate the front cross member without putting your face under the car, but if you do, use these. Here's the front emblem of the car. We're going to go straight down so you can see where the cross member is. It's right here. There's an arrow on the plastic piece in the center pointing to the metal cross member. Undo the lug nuts the rest of the way with your ratchet and then thread them out by hand. Do not tug on the hubcap. The stock hubcaps on these Civics come off after the lug nuts have been removed. So use either your ratchet or your kit from the car to undo the lug nuts a little more and then thread them out by hand. Remove the hubcap, and then when you remove the wheel, make sure to hold it from the bottom and try to pull it out without scathing the actual rim on the threads to damage your wheel studs. I've also placed the jack stands on both sides of the car cosmetically, as we're not going underneath. There's no danger of the car falling on you, but if your floor jack does fail, you want something to catch it so the car doesn't fall on the ground, and then you have a headache that way. But the floor jack is what's supporting the car right now. Remove the wheel on the other side using the same procedure. Then put on your summer tire with the hubcap. Thread the lug nuts in by hand tight. Make sure you don't cross thread them. Snug them down a little bit with your ratchet. Place the car back down on the ground. Then, if you are using the car on public roads, get a torque wrench that torques down to 80 foot-pounds. Put your 19mm on it and use the torque wrench as a ratchet to snug down the lug nut the whole way until you hear the click. Do this while the car is on the ground and do it in a star pattern. If you are using the car in an off-road setting, once the car is on the ground, in order to snug down the lug nuts, just use your breaker bar with the 19mm in a star pattern and snug them down until all of the wheel lug nuts are bottomed out. If you are installing stock hubcaps, this nipple here for the air there is an alignment tab inside of the hubcap for this. You want to do your best to align that with the actual holes aligning onto the rim. Sometimes these line up, sometimes they don't. Do your best to make them line up. Right there. Don't imitate the way I'm picking up and putting down the wheel. I'm working on an angle for the camera. When you do it, squat right down with your chest facing the wheel so that you can have the most control. In the case that the wheel you're trying to remove is seized to the hub there, you're gonna have to use a 4-pound hammer, slide underneath the car, whack on the tire section until it comes loose. Leave 3 lug nuts on, just a little bit loose, so that you don't damage the threads when that wheel goes flying off. I'll demonstrate this in future videos, but if you do need to do this, you have to lower the car onto the jack stands, as the forces you're going to put through the car could possibly knock the car off of just a floor jack. The previous scene, I torqued them down, again working on angles for the camera. If you're a person with not too much strength though, put your foam pads down, kneel down, say with your left knee on the driver's side, grab your left hand onto the actual socket to make sure it stays in place, and then you can use your full body force with your right arm to push your breaker bar down, and that allows you to use your entire midsection, chest, and shoulder in order to give the full torque. Swap the brakes from the rear wheels to the front wheels. And bring your cosmetic jack stands to the back. Here we are at the back of the car. You want to take your jack straight in and put your foam mats on the Civic emblem side because the muffler isn't in your way. We're going to go straight down from the center. I've heard of people using this rear hook to lift it. I don't find that safe. You want to go further in, and on this cross member in the middle here on the subframe is where you're going to slide your floor jack in, and then you're going to use small pumps to lift it up from here. If you are not comfortable with that method at the back, as accessing that part is a bit more difficult than the front cross member, you can just jack it up from the side jacking points, one side at a time for the rear wheels, in order to remove and replace them.